my previous example that I posted, I talked about how I used Copilot to help me take this spreadsheet you're seeing on the screen here and analyze the data and give me something that made more sense. So as you can see here at the moment, this is in what it looks like when I downloaded it. I haven't yet saved this to OneDrive, so one of the first things you need to do when analyzing a spreadsheet through Copilot is to go ahead and save it into OneDrive. So I'm going to quickly go and do that now. Here we go. And you'll notice at the moment it says autosave is off. That's going to change to autosave being on. And because it was a CSV file, I'm going to change it now to a Excel file, because it needs to be in Excel format. So there we go. And I'm going to call it shield data 2. That's fine. It doesn't matter what you call it, because it's whatever it is. Right, so go ahead and save that. You'll now notice that the autosave is turned on. And so the first thing you want to do now is to go ahead and make this into a table, because Copilot likes to work with tables. I'm just going to scroll all the way to the bottom of the data. I know there's probably faster ways than scrolling down like I'm doing here. So if anyone knows the tips, please do drop them below. And here we go. So I've selected that area from cells A to O. I'm going to go into the Insert tab now and say Insert Table. Right, so I've ticked my table has headers here, and these are the rows, and there we go. So now it's in a table format. You can see here that the data that I've downloaded from Shield has the text, which is the full text for the post that was made, the type of text, type of post rather, as well as you can see we have all of these other columns, the impressions, the number of views, the number of reactions and comments, etc., how many times it's been shared, the engagement rate, hashtags that have been used, and here you have the date and time, which is actually a date followed by a time, a link to the LinkedIn post, and then nothing else after that. So to get Copilot to work, we go up here to where it says Copilot, click on that link there, and now you will see that it brings up the Copilot window. At the bottom here there are some starter prompts, but what we're going to do is say I'm going to give it some instructions now. Okay, so a bit. So the instruction here I'm going to give it is, the first thing I want to do is to find out the date and time, so split that into 2 columns. So I'm going to go ahead and say please can you take data from column N, which is date and time, and help me split it into 2, if I can spell into correctly, into 2 columns, one that contains the date, the other that contains the time. Okay, so I'm going to go put that in there now, and what you'll see is that Copilot's going to start analyzing the table. You see the table has changed color right now. It is analyzing the data that's in those cells. It's now proposed these 2 columns here, and I've got this button here that says Insert Columns, and you can see when I do that, it adds these 2 in P and Q, right? So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And there you go. So I've now got a column that says date and a column that says time, and all it's got is the time on one of them, and all it's got is the date on the other. Now I'm going to go a bit further and be a bit more clever and say, right, so I now need, and I could have done this in one statement actually, so I now need a column that says the day of the week in plain English, based off of the date in column P, which is the date. So here we go. Again, it's going to go highlight the table, it's going to find the data, and it's going to analyze it potentially. And here we go. So we can now insert the column that is the weekday. So it's got the day of the week. So you can see here that it's using a formula that it's produced. Okay, these are Excel formulas, obviously. The next thing I wanted to do is to now come up with something more, should I say, let's get a bit smarter, right? So previously you saw in my video I had segregated the data into different times of the day. I had 7 different time functions. Now I'm going to go ahead and type that all up here. I now need a column that has the time category for each row. This will be based on the below rules. So rule number 1. Actually, the time is located in column Q, and the new data will be based on the below rules. Okay, so number 1, I'm going to say any row that has a time of after 8 p.m. and before, let's say, 6 a.m. are to be classed as unsocial hours. Okay, so that's number 1. Second rule, any row that contains a time after 6 a.m. but before 9 a.m. classed as morning commute. Actually, let's break that down as 7 a.m. and make this 5 a.m. We'll add something else here. Number 2, any row that contains a time of between 5 a.m. and before 7 a.m. class as very early morning. And then this one will follow on from there. Anytime after 7 a.m. but before 9 a.m. class as morning commute. 3. So this is going to be a long prompt basically. And then number 4, I'm going to say any row that contains a time after 9 a.m. but before 12 p.m. to be classed as morning work time. And 5, any row that contains a time after 12 p.m. but before 3 p.m. class as lunch hour. Again, you might dispute my times here, but this is just for the purpose of showing you what Copilot can do. And then we're going to say any row that contains a time after 3 p.m. but before 5:30 p.m. class as afternoon work time. And then 7, any row that contains time after 5:30 p.m. but before 7:30 p.m. class as evening commute. And then 8, the last one, any row that contains a time after 7:30 p.m. but before, let's just check what the first one was, before, oh, we'll call this, let's change this actually to 10 p.m. But before 10 p.m. class as evening. Okay, so I've got these things now. I'm going to hit the send button and see what Copilot does. Okay, so here we go. Might take a few seconds. So it's understanding the data. It's going to put that in there, and it should hopefully. Oh, it didn't like that. We'll have to try again. We'll try this again. These things do happen. Okay, here we go. And it's off, generating the formulas that are required. I don't know what happened there, might have been a glitch. And presto, it has now created this column. I can just go insert and we can have a quick look to cross-reference this. Okay, so clearly that is after 10 p.m. It's on social hours. This is morning work time. That is correct. This is afternoon work time. Yes, because it's after 3 p.m. 7:35 is the morning commute. Again, that's correct. And then 21:08, which is evening. I could have gotten a bit smarter and said that on weekends, these hours don't, apply, and there would be different hours. But anyway, there we go. Now, what I want to do is I now need to find out which days and times had the best, let's go have a look at impressions. So let's go get the word there. The data for impressions is in column F. Please can you display this by working out averages and display in the form of a chart. Let's see whether this works. Again, I'm testing this out live as I shoot this video because I just wanted to see how this works out. So therefore you're going to see a lot of bloopers of things going wrong, but it's what to expect. You know, life isn't perfect. And there we go. So it's created this graph. It seems like there's one thing that's pretty out there. We can now add a new sheet, which we'll see what data looks like. Okay, so it does look like, so I'm having to look over my phone screen that's recording my face. There we go. Does it actually have the chart? Yes, it does. And there's your chart. So we can see roughly what that looks like. So you can see that the chart has all this data. Again, be as descriptive as possible, but obviously it's got the data here that you can actually look at to determine which days are better. So I can go back to my Copilot thing and ask it, based on your analysis, which days and times performed the best. So let's see what it comes back with, whether it'll give me the answer to what I'm seeking without having me go through and analyze this all. There we go, it's working it up at the moment. So based on analysis, here we go, unsocial work hours on Sunday and afternoon work time on Sunday had the best performance. So apparently I get the most impressions on Sundays. Let's ask it, what about on the weekdays and not on the weekends? Again, I'm interpreting the data and asking Copilot to go do the analysis for me. So this is obviously one way of doing it. Oh, here we go. So based on analysis, Wednesdays and Thursdays had the best performance during weekdays. How about the times? And it's going to try and get this information for me. Let's see what it understands. And here we go again, analyzing the data. And there we go. So the analysis shows that on weekdays, lunch hours on Thursday and morning commute on a Wednesday had the best impression. So there we go. So that's based on my data. And again, I've not gone deep into kind of other things. I mean, I could ask what type of post did the best, so we can say, you know, which post did the best, because there is that data available here on column C, or you know, what type of content, I mean, if I want to analyze it further. So those are a few things I can do with Excel. We can have a look at the analyst agent, which also comes included within Copilot. So that is there to kind of do this without actually having to go through Excel. So in my next video, I'll take a look into that. So until then, have fun.